afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Live at 4. Mark is a little under the weather this Thursday, so he's taking the day off. Charlotte Deleste is filling in today. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm not sick.
Yeah, are you healthy?
It's floating around here.
I know. You and I are the last two standing. I was pounding emergency earlier today.
Lysol all over. It's all you got to do.
How are you doing with this cold? I saw on Facebook that you're kind of struggling with it.
I am struggling. You know, I like 4 seasons.
Yes.
You know, I could have more than 5 days of fall. And then winter would be great.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks from Thanksgiving and it feels like January outside. We'll get more on the weather in just a second, and later this hour we'll be taking your calls for Dr. Carrie Donahue, your pet questions, so be thinking about that. But here's what's making news on this Thursday. State Republicans refuse to discuss gun legislation at the state capitol.
And the Rock County Salvation Army Food Pantry may have to close if they don't receive donations ahead of the holiday season.
Plus, an aide to Vice President Mike Pence is testifying today as part of the House impeachment inquiry. We'll share the latest from Washington. Let's take a look outside today. Brilliant sunshine. Boy, was it deceiving, though.
It was. It's beautiful to look at. It could be worse, right? That's what I always tell them. It could be worse.
That's true. That's positive thinking. This is just outside of Paoli, this wintry-looking scene from this morning. Dana Fulton is out on the weather patio, and there's more where this came from, right, Dana?
Yes, this chilly weather is going to stay with us, not just through the rest of the work week, but also as we head into next week. A crystal clear sky right now, a lot of sunshine coming through, but it's not helping us out too much. We're at 23 in Madison, 27 in Janesville. It is quite cold outside, and overnight our temperatures are just going to drop again. Barely even a cloud in the sky. Doppler radar is going to stay quiet for us tonight. We still have that alert day in the forecast for tonight and for Friday, though. Near record lows possible. The record low, of course, 7, and we're going with about 8 degrees heading into Friday morning. Tomorrow afternoon, high temperatures will be back in the mid to upper 20s. The record low high for Friday, though, at about 25 degrees. So plan ahead and bundle on up. We'll take a closer look at when we might get a break in this cold air in just a few minutes. Right now on the Beltline and Park Street, we are starting to see delays on the eastbound side of the Beltline right now, stretching all the way through Park Street and John Nolan. Around Janesville, you should be good downtown. And 39 looks smooth through the state line. From Janesville to the Beltline, about 27 minutes, 15 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton. And from Sun Prairie to downtown this evening, about 17 minutes. You might warm up the car for a second before you hop in because it's cold.
All right, will do. Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, groups from across Wisconsin bundled up, went to the state capitol, and demanded that Republican legislative leaders take action on 2 gun control measures. They're calling themselves the 80% for Strong Gun Laws rally because the latest Marquette Law School poll showed at least 80% of the public supports universal background checks on gun purchases and a red flag law, which would allow a judge to temporarily seize guns from someone who poses a threat. But GOP leaders are refusing to act on the gun control proposals.
And Governor Evers called a special session today aiming to address gun violence in Wisconsin. Rose Schmidt is live from the state capitol to tell us when we can expect that to happen.
Susan and Charlotte, we're going to give you a live look over the state Senate chamber right now. Republican Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says he's going to gavel in and gavel out because he has to do so under Evers' executive order. But we are still waiting for that to happen. Meanwhile, on the assembly floor, they have been debating attempts to override 3 of the governor's vetoes, but 2 attempts have failed so far. Once they finish their regular calendar tonight, they'll start the special session that Evers called. The governor's order demands that lawmakers come to the floor between 2 p.m. and midnight today, but they aren't required to debate the gun control measures. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos saying he also plans to gavel in and out because he believes universal background checks and a red flag law infringe on Second Amendment rights.
I think Governor Evers playing politics with this is really sad. I certainly think that's what he's indicated over and over again. It's all about the politics.
Failing to act on basic public safety measures is accepting that there is nothing that we can do to make our communities safer.
Senate Democrats and Attorney General Josh Kaul also held a news conference today and observed a moment of silence in the chamber for every life lost due to gun violence. And Voss says bills that Republicans are proposing today to prevent suicides in Wisconsin will actually be more effective than that Democratic red flag law proposal. One of the bills on the floor today would actually pay gun shop owners to provide people a place to voluntarily store their guns if they are not in a good mental state.
Rose Schmidt live at the state capitol. Rose, thank you.
House committees have released another witness interview transcript as they get closer to the public phase of the impeachment probe. Top Trump administration officials have started to push back on previously released testimony. While the president took on reports, he tried to get the attorney general to step into the impeachment fray. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill with more.
House committees released the deposition transcript of State Department official George Kent. He told lawmakers, according to Ambassador to the European Union Gordon Sondland, POTUS wanted nothing less than President Zelensky to go to microphone and say investigations Biden and Clinton. He added, I do not believe the U.S. should ask other countries to engage in politically associated investigations and prosecutions. Kent is one of 3 witnesses scheduled to testify publicly next week, and Chairman Adam Schiff formally sent a request for Republican witnesses. Jennifer Williams departed Capitol Hill after 4.5 hours of testimony. The vice presidential aide listened in on the July phone call between President Trump and the leader of Ukraine.
What's going on in Washington, D.C. today is a disgrace.
Another potential key witness, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, failed to show for his testimony Thursday. Congressional investigators say they have no plans to subpoena him because they don't want to get dragged into a court fight.
We're not going to, follow a rope-a-dope strategy where we have to wait months or even years to have people come in.
CBS News has confirmed that the Government Accountability Office, a nonpartisan arm of Congress, is now reviewing the administration's hold on aid to Ukraine.
Impeachment witch hunt. Now we go again.
The president continues to rail against the impeachment probe while also beefing up his communications team to coordinate messaging. President Trump is also denying reports that Attorney General William Barr declined his request to hold a news conference clearing him of wrongdoing in the July phone call. In multiple tweets, the president said the report is made up, a con job, and fake news. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
2 Senate Republican committee chairmen have sent a request to the State Department for documents related to Hunter Biden and Burisma, the company he did business with.
Mexican authorities say they know how 9 members of an American family were murdered, but they're still trying to figure out why. Mexican government officials now believe the killers who opened fire on the families belonged to La Linea, part of the Juarez drug cartel. They say the attackers entered the territory of the rival cartel Sinaloa Sunday near La Mora, where the extended LeBaron family lived. They were all members of a breakaway group once associated with the Mormon Church. Mexican authorities believe the gunmen believe they were cartel members, but family members say the group was targeted.
The question is then, why target this family?
These organizations usually, there's no reason, there's no logical reason behind it other than the fact that they're just terrorist organizations.
The family points out that children traveling with 29-year-old Christina Langford Johnson say she raised her arms to show that she was not a threat. The Mexican president says he is open to the U.S. working alongside local authorities in this investigation.
1 year after a deadly mass shooting at a Southern California bar, a memorial honoring the victims and survivors is set to open to the public. Mourners paused at the growing memorial outside the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks to remember those who died there. A year ago today, a heavily armed gunman opened fire inside the country bar, killing 12 people before taking his own life. Destiny Malibu's sister is among those who survived.
It's so hard to stand here and see all the people that passed away. I'm so happy that my sister is okay, but I feel so bad for all of those people, and I knew a lot of them.
In Thousand Oaks, officials are opening a healing garden inside this public park as an outlet for people in the community to grieve. The garden features 12 stone slab benches for each of those who died and 248 pavers for those who lived. With the holiday season approaching, most of us are planning ahead to a big meal or two.
But for those in need, the holidays can take on a new meaning. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spoke to 2 local food pantries today and joins us with how they say you can help. Adam?
Yeah, Charlotte and Susan, at one point the Salvation Army of Janesville's food pantry was so in need of donations that they almost had to close temporarily. And now with the holiday season approaching, they're planning a Thanksgiving dinner where they hope to feed 500 people. And they say right now they're really in need of turkeys, but also other food donations as well. They say ultimately it's about helping people in the area who need it.
Just humble people that are coming in for simply a warm meal and a warm place for maybe an hour or an hour and a half. And to think that there's families and children that are out there in Rock County that aren't getting the groceries that they need to put food on their table.
Now, just about everything served at the Salvation Army comes from donations, and coming up later tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll take a closer look at the Salvation Army as well as another food pantry right here in Janesville, how they say you can help ahead of the holiday season.
Adam, thank you.
There's more at 4. When we come back, we'll find out what's going on around town in Weekend 608.
And we like to hunt for mushrooms here in Wisconsin, but they no longer need to live in a shady forest. High-tech farmers are growing mushrooms indoors. We'll show you how when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
New Zealand's Prime Minister passed a bill to make her country carbon neutral by the year 2050.
The bill won overwhelming bipartisan support, 119 to 1. The new law requires New Zealand's greenhouse gases to be reduced to nearly zero within the next 30 years. But methane gas from animals is excluded because sheep outnumber people 6 to 1 in that country. Livestock farmers bring in most of the country's income.
We have made a choice that I am proud of, that will leave a legacy, and that I hope means the next generation will see that we, in New Zealand, were on the right side of history.
The commitments would fulfill the Paris Climate Agreement. 65 countries signed the carbon neutral pledge in 2015, but few have acted. On Monday, President Trump sent a formal notice to the United Nations withdrawing the U.S. from the agreement. Two Brooklyn entrepreneurs are bringing local farming to a whole new level, one mushroom at a time.
In these futuristic boxes, exotic mushrooms bloom from blue to pink to yellow. Former college roommates Adam DiMartino and Andrew Carter farm 10 varieties inside their Brooklyn warehouse. Their business is called Smallhold, which installs these high-tech farms in restaurants and supermarkets where they can produce up to 100 pounds of mushrooms a week.
Mushrooms fill this awesome void. You can put a mushroom in the center of the plate, and it can be a main dish, just like a steak. But you can also serve it as a side.
The model is an avenue for sustainable farming, which is gaining steam in the face of climate change. The co-founders plan to eventually expand to other types of produce, hoping to change the future of farming.
It's not as fun as hunting for morels, though, is it?
No, certainly not. The stock market extended its winning streak after China announced it had agreed with the United States to gradually ease tariffs on each other's exports.
A spokesperson for China's commerce industry says the two nations agreed to proportionally roll back tariffs in phases. The trade war has been a top concern for investors, and both sides have reason to reach at least a partial agreement. China's economy has slowed, and President Trump is heading into an election year. Today's announcement is seen as a step in the right direction, but analysts are not expecting a breakthrough in the core dispute.
What I don't think we're going to get is what the United States really wanted, which was an acknowledgement that U.S. companies are operating at an unfair advantage in China. Because in order to do business in China, essentially, a U.S. company either has to partner with a Chinese company or that U.S. company has to hand over its intellectual property.
Both sides continue to negotiate when a phase one deal will be signed. Business analysts are hopeful that today's announcement will lead to many of the tariffs being rolled back by the end of the year. News of the Chinese trade agreement set stocks high today. The Dow Jones gained 182 points, the Nasdaq was up 23, and the S&P was up around 8.
It is the weekend in the 608.
Almost.
Yeah.
Friday Eve, as we like to say. And here with a look at what's going on around town is Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Petnod. Hi, Joel.
Hi.
You got your flannel on for Flannel Fest,
Exactly.
and that's where we're starting?
That's right. So that's the cold weather event, music-wise, on Friday night to get to. Flannel Fest is in its 6th year. It's, as I said, the High Noon Saloon. It's bringing together 5 Wisconsin bands, all of which play Americana and roots music, including Milwaukee's Trapper Shep, the Listening Party, and Madison's Mascot Theory, Beth Killey Band, and the North Code. And as I said, it is a benefit for the Keep Wisconsin Warm Fund, which helps keep the power on for people in financial need. It's, as I said, Friday, and it's technically the Flannel Fest South show because it then moves Saturday night to Appleton.
Okay. Oh, nice. 2 places to go to.
Yeah, and I think it's the first year for them to have 2 events.
To have the North. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, and then we've got, you can always snuggle up with your dogs.
That's right.
Keep warm.
Yeah, so at the Alliant Energy Center, we have the Wisconsin Dog Fair, which is perfect if you are thinking about getting a dog but don't know what breed. At the fair, you'll be able to talk to experts on different dog breeds, learn about veterinary care, and even watch dogs run agility courses and apparently dance. Not sure how that works, but who knows? I mean, you may find your next best friend.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to meet the breeders and learn about the individual breeds.
I mean, it's pretty difficult to decide on a particular dog unless you think about your lifestyle.
I think I'll get out of there without a dog. What do you think the odds are?
No, that's a danger.
Boy, it's going to be a cold weekend for the Madison Marathon.
It is, and yeah, I think I saw 30 degrees or so. That's pretty chilly.
That's being optimistic.
It could be, yeah, but you know, it's unseasonable weather. So the Madison Marathon, that's a full marathon as well as a half. They start at 7 a.m. At the state capitol. They go through the UW Arboretum, through campus, past Warner Park, and then back to the Capitol. The last runners will finish around 1:30, so there are lots of places to watch and cheer on the participants if you know, you brave the cold yourself. But there will be police officers stationed throughout the course, permitting people to cross only when it can be done safely. The route maps are available on the city's website.
Okay, at least if anything, this weather is kind of getting you into the holiday spirit. Trying to, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, the white stuff is out there, so, you know, what next but the holiday lights? And that is happening as of this weekend at Olin Park. The 31st annual Holiday Fantasy and Lights blinks on for motorists to cruise through. And if you can't take your kids this Sunday, don't worry. The display is on as of 4 p.m. every day through January 4th.
That's a great Madison tradition.
It
Get
is.
you in the spirit.
Yep.
It's going to be this cold. You know, we might as well be enjoying some
Go in
lights,
head first, right?
Do something in your car.
Yeah, exactly. Have a good weekend, Joel. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank
you.
you.
And you can read much more about everything Joel just mentioned in this month's edition of Madison Magazine.
There is more to come at 4, including a look at your first alert forecast.
And then coming up tonight at 5, if you have a warrant for your arrest in Iowa County, the sheriff's office wants you home for Christmas. Coming up, we'll share how they're making a deal. Coming up tonight at 5.
Take a look at this. Really take a look at this. Oh, yeah, ouch. That looks, and it sounds painful. Let's just take another look, shall we? So a husband and wife are ready to leave the house when he realizes he left something inside. He exits the car, his wife shuts the garage door, and boom, runs right into it. So yeah, there she goes. She gets out to check on him. Don't worry. It looks bad. He's fine. The couple says they watch this video all the time and think it's actually hysterical. So,
see, I always say the worst situations make the best stories later.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So at least he moves, right? That's a good thing.
You know, he's got that in his back pocket all the time. You close the garage door on me, so.
We all feel like we're getting our bell rung with this weather.
My goodness, it's a little cold, and I know a lot of folks are like, it's Wisconsin, but this is below average.
Thank you.
So I am very much so on team that it's worth the hype. It's dangerously cold at night, near record breaking, and unseasonably cold. We'll take a closer look at the potential break for some better weather this weekend. We're just about 15 minutes away from sunset right now, so that bright light blaring on in, you'll need the shades for the drive home. It's also cold outside, so you'll definitely need to layer up. If you do have any plans this evening, I would recommend something inside. Nothing falling from the sky right now, though. Our Doppler track is quiet. That's the good news. High pressure settling in for most of the plains in Midwest. That's keeping things quiet, but very, very, very cold. Pretty much everyone's seeing temperatures below average at this point, and it's going to stay that way for Friday. A little bit of a break with a slightly more moderate temperatures for Saturday, but heading into next week, we plunge into another drop in our temperatures, another fall off for how cold it's going to be. Overnight with this mostly clear sky, we will be dropping quite a bit into the single digits to start off Friday morning. Near record-breaking low temperatures for Friday. The record is 7, and we're going with 8 for an overnight low for Friday morning. In the afternoon, high temperatures will be in the upper 20s. A little bit of a southern breeze helps us out a little bit, but not much, as we are supposed to be close to 50 for our afternoon highs. A variably cloudy sky for Friday with a little more cloud coverage building in as we head into Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, we'll see our temperatures hop up a little bit, a little closer to 40 in the upper 30s for most of the area. That's still well below average. Now temperatures heading overnight again in the single digits with this mostly clear sky. It is going to be unseasonably cold outside. Our overnight low temperature should be a little closer to 30 degrees right now. So a lot of folks, of course, saying it's Wisconsin. It's cold outside. This is below average. This is unseasonable for this time of year. And frankly, single digits is dangerously cold, especially sending the little ones out to the bus stop in the morning. We are expecting sunshine tomorrow, but again, those high temperatures will barely be in the mid to upper 20s. So you'll definitely want to plan ahead and make sure plenty of layers are included for the bus stop and then again for recess and for drop off later on. High temperatures for Friday will be in the upper 20s. A variably cloudy sky expected, so not as clear and sunny outside. We'll get some pockets of sun mixed on in there. Temperature-wise, a little bit warmer than today thanks to that southwest breeze, but only by a degree or two. Not enough to make a huge difference when it's already that cold. A breeze anywhere from 6 to 12 miles per hour throughout southern Wisconsin. That cold trend stays with us. Closer to the state line, we'll be a little closer to freezing, looking at temps near 30 or in the lower 30s. But the further north you go from Madison, of course, Sauk City and Sun Prairie also in the mid to upper 20s. And once you get closer to the Dells, looking at highs closer to the mid 20s for those afternoon highs. Alert day in the forecast for tomorrow. Variably cloudy sky. Saturday and Sunday, thankfully, we get a little hop up in our temperatures in the upper 30s for Saturday, mid 30s for Sunday, with a flurry chance developing. Not expecting a lot of accumulation, though. That's the good news. Those flurries likely continuing into Monday with some light snow chances possible early in the day. And our alert days for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that's, of course, thanks to the very cold temperatures, not just in the afternoon, but those overnight lows dropping back down to the single digits again. They will be near record low temperatures and near record low high temperatures for Monday and Tuesday afternoon especially. By the following weekend, we climb up a little more still, but that entire 10-day forecast remains below average. Thankfully, not a lot of snow chances mixed on in there. So if you have any outdoor plans, if you can layer on up, bundle up, you should be okay. But I would say inside. Wow. If I could, with a hot chocolate.
Yes. Okay. Good plan.
You heard it here.
That's the best course of action right now. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dana. When products are recalled for safety concerns, the idea, of course, is to get them off the market to protect consumers.
But that's not always what happens. Lisa Mateo reports on how shoppers can steer clear of potentially dangerous recalled products.
If you search the internet for a used baby sleeper, hundreds of these rock and play models are for sale on secondhand markets. What buyers may not realize is that Fisher-Price recalled that model in April after it was tied to dozens of infant deaths.
These are really dangerous products, and using them could be extremely risky.
Consumer Reports writer Rachel Peachman searched online for recalled products that have caused harm to children. She found a number of items that were supposed to be off the market.
I also found recalled IKEA dressers, and those have been associated with hundreds of tip-over incidents and several deaths of children.
Consumer Reports says Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist have the most postings of recalled items. eBay has automated filters to prevent listing dangerous products.
When products are recalled, retailers are required by law to pull them from store shelves. The law also applies to secondhand marketplaces, but regulating the numerous online platforms has been a challenge.
In many cases, neither the seller nor the buyer is aware the product has been recalled, which is why Consumer Reports advises shoppers to do their homework.
If you're not sure, you could ask the seller when the product was manufactured, what's the serial number, so that you can make sure that the product you're getting has not been affected by a safety alert or a recall.
Or go to recalls.gov to check for yourself. A few extra clicks could protect you from a purchase you may regret. Lisa Mateo, CBS News, New York.
The resale platforms do have warnings to discourage the sale of recalled products.
But Consumer Reports says they are not effective in stopping the posts. Still to come, booming bars, big stars, and a tangled past. Sounds like a country song, doesn't it?
It does. In Nashville, country stars are taking the music scene to a whole new level. We'll have that story when Live at 4 continues. That is a live look at Nashville this Thursday afternoon. It's a little cloudy and rainy, but it's 47 degrees. Feels like 80 compared to
sure.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
I have not.
I never have either, actually. We should make a road trip.
Oh, let's do it.
Thelma and Louise.
There's a reason to go there.
That's right, because some of country music's biggest stars are taking the Nashville music scene to a whole new level.
Jason Aldean, Blake Shelton, and Luke Bryan are just some of the artists opening massive multi-floor live music venues.
And that's where fans told Kenneth Craig they're flocking to feel closer to their favorite country stars.
She was like, oh my God, this is my song.
Luke Bryan's rise to the top of the charts began in Nashville, the country music capital of the world. And more than a decade later, he's planting new roots here with a 30,000 square foot entertainment venue that towers above the city's famous honky-tonks.
I never could have imagined driving down Broadway and seeing my name in neons.
His venue is part of a transformation that's underway in the Music City, driven by some of its biggest stars who are opening up massive restaurants and bars themed around themselves. Jason Aldean's vision came to life with 3 floors, 6 bars, and a kitchen that can serve thousands of fans a night.
Steak, we are known for steaks, the best steaks in Nashville.
Chef Thomas Wozniak of TC Restaurant Group collaborated with not only Aldean, but Luke Bryan and Florida Georgia Line, giving him the nickname Chef to the Stars.
What do you see that sets these places apart from the traditional honky-tonks on Broadway?
I like to say food, definitely food. I like to believe it at least.
For fan Heather Dragan, it's a way to connect.
They've created these bars. This is what they like, so you feel closer to the actual artists themselves.
Alan Jackson's hit Good Time was the inspiration for his Nashville bar, where outside we met tour guide Robbie Goldsmith, who expanded his business to include celebrity bar crawls.
It's growing really fast. It's only 3 years old, but in the last 12 months, it's probably grown, about 300%.
Blake Shelton, Dierks Bentley, and Kid Rock are also cashing in, part of the explosion of star bars and Nashville's booming new act. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Nashville, Tennessee.
What a cool idea, isn't
That
it?
is really neat. Nashville's tourism numbers are also on the rise.
Just last year, the city drew in 15.2 million visitors. That's an increase of almost 5% from the year before.
I'll get the car started.
All right.
Up next on Live at 4, we're taking your calls for veterinarian Carrie Donahue.
If you have a pet question, now is the time to pick up the phone. There she is. The number to call is 270-9933. Dr. Carrie will take your calls when Live at 4 continues.
Right now, things do look okay on the roads as far as any accidents, none to report, but the Beltline is a little bit busy, both east and westbound. We are moving really slow, a little slower though on the eastbound side of things. This is a look right at Park Street. Of course, a lot of folks on the roads right now. We're slow right around Park Street, but then starting to pick back up closer to 51 and before John Nolan. Now around Janesville downtown, there are a few stop and go spots. Again, no accidents though, and 39 looks smooth all the way from Madison to the state line. Janesville to the Beltline will take you 26 minutes. Still 17 though to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown. That drive time's increased a bit. About 20 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. Christmas came early in one New Mexico town this year. This 60-foot blue spruce from Red River, New Mexico is this year's People's Tree. It will be on display on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol. Hundreds of people gathered yesterday to watch the tree be cut down. 3 drivers will split the 1,500-mile trip, and the tree will make stops at nearly 30 communities along the way.
That's amazing to watch.
'Tis the season. Well, it's time to get your pet questions answered today. Dr. Carrie Donahue from Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care on Monroe Street is here.
Just give us a call. 270-9933 is the number.
And we have 2 lines open if you'd like to talk to Dr. Carrie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good to see you. Let's get right to the phones. Folks are waiting to talk to you, and we'll start with Karen in Madison. Hi, Karen. What's your question?
Yes, I actually have 2. I have 2 cats who can no longer have steroids given to them. One cat is constantly sneezing, and his breath stinks. And then the other cat had to have all its teeth removed, and he won't eat. He hides all the time, so I think he's sore right back where your jawline meets. So I was thinking CBD oil might help.
That's a wonderful idea. And CBD oil is really nice for cats just because it helps with pain, it helps with inflammation. So it's a really nice, easy, safe, natural thing to try for any pet that you might suspect might be in pain for whatever reason. You know, and CBD oil too is an alternative to a steroid injection or just giving steroids in general, because it does help to kind of moderate the immune system as well. So I think that might be a very good option.
Now, how do you give it to a cat?
CBD oil can be given in a number of different ways. You can give it as a treat, which is probably the easiest way to get a cat to take it, you know, just something that they don't even know that they're getting the actual CBD oil. You can actually give it directly in the mouth as the oil. And I also have a transdermal cream that you can apply to the skin on the inside of the ear flap, and then it just gets absorbed into the system that way. So there are a couple of different alternative ways that you can give it.
All right. Very good.
Okay, we have another caller, Ellie from Madison. Hi, Ellie. What's your question?
Yes, I have he's part Chihuahua, part Pomeranian. And I'm wondering if there's a place where I can get, for low-income people, I can get his shots.
You know, in Madison, there are some alternative veterinary clinics that do offer vaccinations and surgeries at a lower cost. One place that comes to mind is called the Spay Me Clinic, and that is located in Madison. There are also some different pet stores in Madison that offer vaccine clinics kind of on the weekends, you know, where you can go into the pet store and have the vaccines done at a lower cost as well. So there are options. You would just need to look into it and maybe check out those places.
All right, very good. Let's go to Lorna in Madison. Hi, Lorna. What's your question?
Hi, I have a dog who has seizures, and I'm wondering what you think. Would you continue the vaccinations, and would a hypoallergenic diet help her? And what do you think about phenobarbital for the seizures?
Yeah, and seizures are a complicated issue, and not every single thing works for every pet. So thinking about medication, if the seizures are not able to be controlled with anything else, phenobarbital would be a medication that usually does help to control them. So a hypoallergenic diet, you know, in some cases it certainly can help because it might just cut down on any inflammation in the body and thereby help the seizures that way.
Could also CBD oil help?
I know, exactly. And CBD oil is the top supplement that I recommend for my patients when they do have seizures. So that might be a nice, safe place to start. And you had asked about the vaccines too. And I really do recommend discussing it with your veterinarian and seeing what vaccines are definitely going to be necessary. The rabies vaccine is one that's required by law, but there are other vaccines that might not be necessary at this point that you might hold off on, you know, kind of as you move forward for your pet.
Okay, all right, our next caller, Sue from Sun Prairie. Hi, Sue, what's your question?
Hi, I have a cat. He's 13 years old and been to the vet recently, so he's in good health. But he is hanging out in our unfinished basement way in the back corner. When we bring him upstairs, he will just run right back down there. So I'm wondering maybe why he's doing that and if it's okay.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to figure out sometimes why cats do different things. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you had him in at the vet and you were able to make sure that he's healthy and rule out any medical conditions. It might just be a behavioral thing. You know, that he feels more comfortable in the basement. Maybe he's trying to get away from something that's stressing him out upstairs. It's a possibility. So I might look on the line of maybe some more behavioral things that you can do to try to help your cat, maybe try to engage a little bit more upstairs.
Maybe you have a mouse. That happened to us, honestly, and we couldn't figure out why the cat was obsessed with staring at the wall until he caught the prize. So it's just something to think about.
Definitely, yes.
All right, good luck to you. Let's go to Bonnie in Madison. Hi, Bonnie, what's your question?
I have a 15-month-old Sheltie pup who is a wonderful little dog. However, he has been acting out a little bit, and he's very shy, a little bit on the skittish side. And when I say acting out, he doesn't chew anything except he has this obsession with my wicker furniture in my Four Seasons room. And so he's just sort of, and he does it so fast, he's like a sleuth. He just goes and, like when I'm talking on the phone, I guess when I'm distracted is probably when he goes and does his naughtiness. And
they're so
that's
smart.
That's the one thing that is bothering me a lot. And the other thing is I was given Purina. It was a probiotic combination called Calm Effect, I think it is, for just some of his shyness or skittishness.
Okay, I want to get the answer for you because we're running out of time. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea to kind of work with the probiotics. There is that specialized probiotic that's available now that has calming properties. So I would continue with that. The other thing that I might say to try, there is something called canine pheromones. And the pheromones kind of make dogs feel like everything is okay and really settle them, can chill them out. So that might be something else to look into. You can get a spray and just kind of spray it around your dog, but that might be something to try.
All right, we're out of time today. Sorry, everybody. We could use so much more time with you, Carrie. It's great to see you, but we'll see you next time.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for your calls, everybody. We'll be right back.
Near record cold possible tonight. Friday also unseasonably cold, high of about 29. The record low high, of course, 25. We'll be right back.